Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy you're here because today we're opening the door to a truly magical topic, the world of dreams. Dreams are not just random images, they are powerful messages from our deeper selves. They can guide us, heal us, and show us hidden patterns we are ready to transform. And today I'm speaking with Janice, a wonderful dream teacher and soul guide who has developed her own unique method for dream interpretation. In this interview, we'll explore how dreams can help us grow, heal, and connect with our true essence. Whether you are completely new to the dream work or already curious about what your dreams mean, this conversation will inspire you to start exploring the messages your soul is sending you every night. Let's begin. I would like to warmly welcome Janice and thank her for being here with us today. Janice, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join this conversation and for your willingness to share your experience, your perspective, and your work with us. It's an honor to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to this dialogue. To start, Janice, I'd like to invite you to tell us a little bit about what first drew you to this work and how your journey began.
I've always felt very connected to my dreams ever since I was a child.
Mm,
I remember having vivid dreams and really feeling that dreams were where I connected my spirit to the world.
mm,
And I even remember adults or even older kids would come to me and just tell me about a dream that they had. And I
mm,
don't remember having said out loud to anybody that I felt connected with dreams. I don't even know that I really knew that was a thing, but I do remember people would come to me and tell me their dreams. So I've just always been super fascinated with dreams. I remember even in school, like when I was young, probably fourth or fifth grade, going to the library and checking out a book by Freud or Carl Jung and just being so fascinated by what they said about dreams. So fast forward until now,
yeah,
and while life got in the way for quite a number of years, here I am, and I feel like I'm finally doing what my soul and my heart wants to do, and that's working with dreams.
wow, thank you. And what really opened your heart to this path?
I would say life opened me.
Mm,
Um, Life happened. And as many of us do, we go through um, what what you probably know as the dark. What is that called? Oh, the dark night of the soul.
yes.
And for me, I had to sort of hit this point where the life that I was living just no longer worked for me. Even
Mm,
though on the outside it looked like everything should be fine, on the inside, I was completely unhappy. And I knew something had to change. So that's kind of what tipped me over into this world. At the time, I was a physicist and just constantly working, and I just didn't have any time for my inner world. So something had to change, and it did.
you did. Oh, thank you for sharing this, Janice. Hmm. Some people say sometimes dreams are just random brain activity. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I read that a lot. And I don't think so. While I think that there might be what looks like it could be random activity, I it just doesn't seem like it. I have looked at literally thousands of dreams and
Mm.
talked to people, and many of these dreams have been my own, so I know myself very well. And some of the things that show up in our dreams are definitely, definitely have pieces from, let's say, a movie that we watched or a conversation that we had a couple of days ago, or, a real life experience that we've had. But that doesn't make the dream random, it makes it more relevant. It's picking up these pieces from our life and it's helping us see it from a different perspective so that dreams can become a guide for us.
Yeah.
So when those pieces from real life come in, I think it's even more proof that this is meant for, or I think it's more proof that this is a message for us, an oracle.
Mm.
So I don't think that we should dismiss dreams as random. I think we should look at them as a guidance system, something to help us with what we're going through right now in life. And Carl Jung even said that too. He said, don't use dreams as the answer to everything, use them as a piece of information to integrate into your daily life.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. So, what are the biggest misconceptions people have about dreams, you think, Janice?
Um, let me think about that. Well, besides that, oh, dreams are just random firings of the brain. Um, there's a misconception that, okay, so you can go all the way to the other side and say that my dreams are showing the future. They're showing what's going to happen. And that can be dangerous because then you're allowing one piece of information to rule your life or decide for you what you think, as opposed to using that piece of information to help you navigate and move towards your best life. Your dreams are the unfiltered truth. They don't have the ego part of us saying or trying to balance it and making everybody like us like we do in real life. So that part is completely gone. So it's like your dream is your best friend that will always tell you the truth no matter what. So why not use that piece of information? I want to say that one misconception that people have about dreams and interpreting their own dreams is that a symbol will always mean something. So I see a lot of people asking ChatGPT, what does
Mm.
my dream mean? And I think that this can be really dangerous because on one side, you're telling a robot to tell you what your dream means. But dreams are so personal. Whether you,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think it's random, then you're just missing out on a big, on a big part of life. I don't
Mm.
think that our biological and our spiritual self would waste energy having dreams if
Mm.
they weren't meant to improve our lives in some way.
Very helpful. Thank you. Yeah. And Can you explain how dreams can support personal and spiritual growth?
So, since dreams show us the unfiltered truth, that means that sometimes they show us the hard truth, something that we've been unwilling to face in waking life. And so we can use those pieces of information from our dreams to help guide us with difficult conversations or difficult decisions in life. We can also use the information from dreams to help us improve our physical. Dreams always show how your body is performing, because if our body isn't performing well, then our spirit feels down, or maybe we're not going to be taking the steps that we're really wanting to take because our body doesn't feel right. So your dreams will even give you that information. Why not look at that? Your dreams will give you information about what you're thinking about a lot. And this might be why sometimes we think that our dreams are just helping us process, because we know that it's something we've been thinking about a lot. Maybe there's a relationship that's gone sour and it really hurts, or we're really concerned about it. Well, then our dreams are going to step in and say, hey, here's a perspective that you didn't see. And maybe just having that perspective or experiencing that in our dream will help us be able to navigate that situation in waking life. I'm sure that many people watching have had a dream where in the dream, they just start crying. Mm-hmm. But in waking life, they're so tough, or they've been told, or they've learned to stay stoic or emotionally separated from people or situations. But in the dream, they cry. And this can be a really beautiful way for them to experience emotions and feelings towards a person or situation that they otherwise wouldn't allow them to. So then when you wake up, you can then experience that person in a different way because you've been able to be vulnerable in your dream.
Wow, that's fascinating, wonderful. What makes your approach different from traditional dream analysis? Can you say a little more about that, Janice?
Sure. First, I think dream analysis, or like what I like to call it, dream guidance, really belongs to everyone. And you can look at it from many different perspectives. Dreams have so many layers that you can hardly be wrong, especially if it's your own dream and you have allowed yourself to be open to whatever message will come through. One of the ways that I like to look at dreams is I like to look for the Dharma. Where are you really flowing in the dream? Because I feel like this is where the major energy is in the dream. This is what the person's heart most desires. And that is the one part, or that is a part that I believe Freud got right. But I feel like Freud went overboard in the biologics. And, but I feel like yes, we'll dream about what is our heart's desire. We will also dream about what we deny ourselves. So I know many people are thinking, well, I want to do what my heart desires, but I have no idea what that is. Well, if that's you, then know that your dreams know what that is. And so your dreams will be always pushing that message out to you like, look, this is what you truly love. It's coming up in your dreams. So do it. And then that same dream will usually say what excuses you're making for not doing that. So if you look at it from the perspective of Jung, where he talks about the persona, the shadow, and then the ego driving your decisions, all of those will show up in your dream. But the main thing from your dream is what would make you feel whole. What would be the completion and what would make you feel like, yeah, this is me. This is how I want to show up in the world. So I like to look for that flow, because when you find that flow, you find all of these other little pieces. Now, here's something else that is so easy that any of you can do it. Look for the different chakras in your dream, and the different chakras will show you what is the main theme that is showing up for you. What is the main place in your dream where you are flowing? Where is the main place that is disrupted in your dream? But that means that it's also in waking life, right? So how do you look for chakras? Well, if you can do, anyone can do an internet search and look for the symbolic meaning of chakras, and and also the colors that are associated with those chakras. And so that can really help you to see those little clues in dreams. For example, blue, that shows up in a lot of people's dreams. What color is that usually associated with? The throat chakra. And so, what is the throat chakra associated with? Speaking, hearing, communication. So, if that shows up a lot in your dreams and it shows up in a way that is somehow stunted or negative in some way or not fully expressed, then you will see like, oh, okay, my throat chakra is showing up here. And so there's some area in my life where I really need to embrace and open myself to really expressing or hearing things from a different perspective. Maybe you hear somebody talking and then you process that and you think, oh, that person is being mean or being rude to me. Well, maybe that's just the way that your throat chakra is processing that type of expression. What if you could hear it from a different perspective and you could hear that same sentence, that same tone, and then just say, oh, that person is really hurting.
Oh, that's a nice perspective. Yes.
Another big difference about the way that I look at dreams and the way that others might look at dreams is that I follow the energy of the dreamer themselves. So I think it's really important to ask, what does the dream want to say right now? Because tomorrow the dream wants to say something different, because the dreamer is a different person tomorrow. So I very much feel like following the energy of the dream is the most important thing. And this is kind of similar to Robert Moss. He believes that dreams are very personal and that nobody else can tell you what that dream means. So I fall somewhere in the middle. I, of course, teach dream guidance, and I also have appointments where people sit down with me and we talk about their dream. But I never would say, oh, well, this is what the dream is saying that you need to do. It's always about following that person's energy. Where in their life do they need this guidance the most, and what is that guidance that's coming out in the dream? So that's just a major difference, that I've never had anybody teach that to me. It's just something that came.
Wonderful. And what exactly do you mean by patterns in dreams? Could you give us an example of that?
Well, yeah, another easy thing that you can do with your dreams, or if somebody else brings you a dream to have you guide them through it, is you can look for programming. This is one of the first things that I teach because it's so easy to find. You can find in your dream those parts where you are repeating belief systems, or let's say you can find in your dreams where you are repeating programming. You are repeating just your beliefs, but you're doing it without even realizing it. It's like the computer. The computer is doing all these things in the background because you've taught that computer, just like we teach chat gpt, you've taught that computer to respond a certain way when something happens. So let's say if somebody is being loud and angry, well, you taught your computer to pull back, become small, or hide, and you don't even realize it most of the time. So you can see those types of patterns show up in dreams very easily. And what I would say to that when you see that in your dream is try to get to what that program is. So, a very common example that I use, because it was something that I had to do so much work around, was the programming of I'm not important. And so that showing up in your dreams, I'll tell you how that showed up for the final. What do I want to say about that? Okay. This piece of programming showed up in my dreams, and it was so starkly real and visceral for me that I finally did something about it. So, what it was in my dream was I literally represented a piece of trash in the dream. And that told me, oh my gosh, I think that I am completely worthless. And I'm just going to be shuttled out to the curb and taken away. Like that's how it felt to me when I woke up from that dream. So like I am not important. And that script was playing in the background my whole life. And I didn't even know it. Like at some point, I probably thought I was important, but I definitely didn't think I was important, well into adulthood. So then you do something about it, right? As you know, I have a lot of different modalities where you can explore that and release that programming. But something that you can do on your own is just say, okay, well, what is the opposite of that programming? And that's the affirmation. So you can begin with simple affirmations or mantras, but you really have to stick to it. You really have to. It can't be, okay, I'll say this once a day, I'll say this for a week, and I'll forget it. For most of these really deep traumas, it's something that you have to stick to for a while. So my affirmation was, I am important. So that was pretty easy. So I had to repeat that to myself many, many times, as well as do multiple rounds of my own birth wound healing.
Wow, that's really interesting, the programming, and to find the programming and important, it seems. Yes. Yeah, and have you ever had a dream that changed your life in a significant way? Could you tell us about it?
Oh, sure. I think if if I hadn't paid attention to the dream, it probably wouldn't have changed anything. So it's really, how did I use that piece of information that I was given? I had a dream before I left my job, before I left my, you know, high functioning 3D scientific job. And I had been wanting to leave for a while because I knew that I wasn't satisfied with life and I didn't want to just do that for the rest of my life and then die. And then that was me. I knew something different was in my path, but I had those excuses. Well, I can't do this now because I need to have this income. I need to have this income. And if I leave that, well, there's no guarantee that I will have money or food. And it just snowballed. And I even got to the point where I was saying, well, I'm going to be homeless if I do this. But those were just excuses for me to not step into what I really truly wanted to do. So I had this dream where um, the dream basically told me it was time to exit, not time to exit and die. Thank goodness. But it was saying it's time to get out of the circle, out of the cycle that you're in right now. And it was interesting because it used real world, timely information that was happening to me at the same time. So the dream was set in Brazil, which is where my husband was doing a project on a 3D construction printer. But the problem is that we didn't get to see each other very much. I was away from him for about 10 months because, I was working and he was over here doing his project. It was quite difficult to just fly down here because it's a long, long process to get here. But so I was here for a month on vacation, and I had a dream that I was in a roundabout. I was driving in a roundabout, and I was driving, and then I saw an exit, but I just kept driving in that roundabout. I circled again and again, and then I saw. I'm trying to remember. Well, and then I saw a sign in Portuguese that meant exit. And I won't try to pronounce it because I don't know how. But I knew in the dream that it said exit and it had an arrow pointing to this exit. So the next time that I went around, I said, I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. So I exited. And it was probably a couple days after that, and I called my boss and I said, hey, if there's ever any opportunity to retire early, I was working for the federal government, then can you let me know about it? And then it was the next day when Trump sent a letter to all of the federal government workers and said, here's this opportunity to to leave
Wow.
the federal government. And so I took that opportunity. And so it was all just really beautiful timing. And I was definitely ready to hear that message and I was ready to do something with it. And I just knew it was right. I just knew it was time to exit. So that was, I feel like, a life-changing dream, in that
Wow.
now what I'm doing is this work, and I've had the opportunity to meet you and work with you. And I've just had all of these beautiful opportunities to work on dreams and to learn more and more about dreams that I would have never had if I hadn't exited that roundabout.
Wow, how one dream can quietly shift the course of your life. Huh? So, Janice, what do you see dreams as a powerful tool for healing? Could you share a personal story, maybe, or an experience from your work with others?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many. Yeah, well, first One of the main reasons why I just love working with dreams is because I love to be part of someone's journey of healing and becoming whole and experiencing freedom from suppression or freedom from holding back. So
Mhm.
dreams are such a beautiful tool that we can all use to help us along that path of healing and becoming whole. So I'll share a few personal dreams that relate to something real that I'm working on.
Mhm.
I'm working on really coming more into my power, more into my voice. And it's been hard for me to dig deeper because I've done so much trauma work, I've done so much shadow work, but I knew there was something else. I knew there was something that I needed to change. I just couldn't see what that was. I was just totally blind to it. So I had this dream recently, which very clearly showed the shadow that's still there. Tell me if you can see it. So in this dream, I walked outside and we had gotten a new dog in this dream. This new dog was cute and sweet, kind of quiet and little. And then I out walked with me my my old dog, who's a big pit bull. And she could be very aggressive in waking life. She could be that way because unfortunately she wasn't treated right before she came to me, but that's a different story. But in the dream, she was very aggressive towards this sweet, cute dog. And I tried to stop her. And I was even mad that my husband had let her interact with this sweet dog. And I saw that the two dogs were growling at each other. And when I walked by my dog, she stuck out her tongue and she had two bites taken out of her tongue. And then I saw the other dog also had a bite of her tongue taken out. And then later I was walking around and I was thinking, oh, maybe we need to euthanize my dog. But then I was also having this thought like, oh, it's not my dog. She's not aggressive. It's just, my husband's fault for having her next to the other dog. And all the while I'm walking around this place and I'm seeing children with art easels and they're just making art. They're making paintings.
Mhm.
So can you see clearly how there's a dog who's aggressive and it's bitten its tongue? And and then you have children who are expressing art. They're bringing their expression into the physical. And then you have
Mhm.
me denying that my dog is aggressive and trying to deny that nature of my dog. So that's my shadow. What we
Mhm.
deny ourselves to express in waking life is our shadow as well. So my dream showed me that I was biting my tongue. I was not allowing that aggressive nature to come out and to practice because I was taught through life and life circumstances to be the quiet one, to be the sweet one. It's
Mhm.
not okay to be aggressive and go for what you want. So that dream
Mhm.
showed me, okay, I need to let my shadow come out and practice. It may be uncomfortable because people might think, oh, you're aggressive, but I've got to do it.
Mhm.
Last night, I had another dream that helped me see this as well. And in the dream, I saw a black bear out in the forest. And
Mhm.
I thought, oh no, I don't want to be, I don't want that bear to notice me. And so I ran and I went up. up to the roof of my house and I noticed that the black bear was there also. And I was a little bit afraid. But also in the dream, I started telling everybody about how fascinated I was by this bear and how cool it was that I had seen it. So when I woke up, I was thinking, well, okay, now why am I having this black bear in my dream? That's a very aggressive animal. And then it hit me. Oh, okay. Another aggressive animal is coming into my dream and I'm distancing myself from it. And then when I realize that animal is in me, it's in my house, it's part of me, and I'm actually fascinated by it. So, yes, I need to go forward with allowing this aggressive, ambitious, sort of pit bull nature to come out in me and to let that be okay. And to know that soon it will not look aggressive to me. It will not feel aggressive to me. It will feel like my whole and authentic self. So there you have it, an example of how the shadow shows up and how it's a great piece of guidance information for my life right now.
Wow, the symbolic language of the dreams is so powerful. Thank you. And building on what you just shared, do you believe that dreams can carry messages from our soul?
Yeah, I think that dreams are always encouraging us to be whole, to be our complete self, to stop letting the ego try to balance and to let our shadow be strong and to actually be a strength for us and to let go of that mask. So, a perfect example that someone just had in a dream that I looked at was that there was a price to be paid, and the price to be paid was a basket full of eggs. And when I tuned into that, it was about putting all the eggs in one basket, which is horrible advice with maybe your finances. You know, you want to spread your finances around and invest in different things. But in a dream and in waking life, that's saying put everything together, become whole. Stop having an integrated, or stop having a piece of you over here watching. Bring that piece in. And in this dream, there was a wise person, and then there was somebody else, and then there was the dreamer. So this dream was saying, no, you're everything. So put it all together and let yourself move forward with confidence, knowing that you are that wise person. And that's how you're meant to step forward. That's how you're going to make these big changes that you're feeling are coming up for you right now.
Wow. That feels like an important point to highlight. Yes. Janice, for people who wants to work with their dreams for healing or insight, what is the very first step you would recommend?
I would recommend doing a dream seed. So I create dream seeds and I have some free on YouTube. I have a birth wound dream seed. I have some soul family dream seeds out there. Vanessa, you create beautiful meditations. I don't know if they're the same thing, but you could even do this on your own. You don't even have to listen to my meditations. I just know that mine really help people remember their dreams, and they really bring forward what needs to be brought forward. So you just listen to this. It is my voice saying different beautiful things. It's binaural beats, which I believe are really helpful for balancing and relaxing your nervous system. And you just be open to the message that needs to come forward for you. And so let's say you're listening to a birth wound dream seed. Well, then most likely something around the sacral chakra will come up. You might have a dream about lots of water or spaces that feel very much like you coming into the world and maybe not knowing what your mission here is or not feeling like you belong. These are all sort of birth wound territory type of dreams. If you're having a particular difficult time with family relationships, listen to one of the family dream seeds. That one on YouTube is called Familiar Frequencies. Listen to that one for about a week. You know, maybe you fall asleep with it playing next to you. And that will really help sort of break up some of the density of what you're feeling around, and it will really help you have some of those dream experiences that I talk about.
Yes, your meditations are so beautiful. Yes. So, in fact, the first step is really about listening and feeling before doing anything with a dream. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to remember your dreams. So, I would say to just honor your dream. So start a dream journal if you don't have one already. I just use Google Docs, and sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a dream and I'll just write it really quickly. Or you can speak into it and you can just speak your dream and then go back to sleep. But just tell yourself, I am going to remember a dream, and whatever I remember about that dream is going to be significant and helpful for me in waking life. And then go to sleep with that thought. It might take some practice, but if you're not going to write down your dreams, well, then your dream doesn't think that it's honored. It doesn't think that it's going to be listened to. So you may have a hard time listening to dreams, but prepare yourself to record that dream in some way and then just be patient with yourself. And I think like you will just get more practice and you'll get better at it, and pretty soon you'll have a journal full of dreams.
So, and thank you. And what final message would you like to share with the listeners, Janice, who are curious about their dreams but don't know where to start?
I truly think the best place to start after you've honored your dreams and you've written some down is to make an appointment with one of the dream guides that have gone through my course or with me. Definitely with Vanessa. She's excellent at guiding you through a dream. And just have your dream looked at and be part of that experience, because if you've never done that before with somebody who truly honors you and where the dream wants to lead you, then I just don't think you've lived yet. So just do that. Make an appointment. Our prices are not unachievable. They're very low prices. You can do small group dream work with us for just $26. So, like, I don't think there's any reason why not to do it.
Oh, Janice, thank you so much for this conversation. I really appreciate your openness and the clarity you brought to these themes. And thank you also for sharing your perspective so generously. It's been very valuable to listen to you, and I think this gives our listeners a lot to reflect on. And I hope you can come to Europe and share your method here in Europe. Thank you very much, Janice. And Thank you, dear listeners, for watching this inspiring conversation with Janice. I hope this interview has sparked a new curiosity inside you about your dreams, your inner wisdom, and the incredible healing that is possible through dream work. If this resonates with you, stay tuned, and I'll be sharing you more about dreams and how to work with them in the coming weeks, including tips, tools, and even meditations. And who knows, this may be just the beginning of a beautiful collaboration with Janice here in Europe. If you enjoyed this, feel free to share it, leave a comment with your own dream experience, or ask your questions below. See you soon and sweet dreams.